Hello and welcome back to this week's episode of the M2 podcast. I'm your host, Michael Anthony. My co-host right here is Kyle Heath. This is the show where we cover gaming industry related news. We got some news for you this week. Obviously, that's the whole point of this shindig. What we're going to be talking about is Marvel Rivals apparently laying off their entire North America division out in Seattle. NetEase being the company, China. We're going to get into that. Like, how can that even possibly happen? We're also going to talk a little bit about Diablo hackers finding out something that's going on with a world record, and then finishing off with just Grand Theft Auto 6 info. We got like a little bit of an update, a little bit of a leak. Good to get into that as well. But Kyle, before we go, man, how you been? How's it been going? You told me you got a short update this week, right before we got started.
Yeah, dude.
So,
Short update.
what's going on?
Listen. Yeah, dude, game-wise, played two things. Played some Baldur's Gate 3 and played some Witcher 3.
Right?
I haven't had a chance to play Avowed yet. It's been out for a time recording this a day, but I just haven't haven't been able to actually get to it yet. So downloading that right after this. So I'll be playing over the next few days. Kind of get a feel for that, see what that's gonna be like. But other than that, yeah, that's pretty much it. Baldur's Gate 3, I'm almost in Act 2. Almost. Not there yet.
Okay.
Almost. So it's a long time coming, but almost there. So me and the homie, we've been like doubling around with some mods. Decided to go third party mods, so we're trying that out. Kind of using a exterior tool to the actual native mods that are in the game. So it's a bit of a different kind of way. You have to like load in a certain way. To actually like start the lobby and everything, but the mods are very interesting and very different. So I don't know, it's got me intrigued and ready to play more. But I only got like 4 or 5 hours this week, so kind of just chipping away.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Just kind of grinding a little bit, trying to do something new.
Yeah,
basically.
Yeah, for real. And now that Avowed's out, I'll have a new game to talk about this week. So excited about that.
It's true. Yeah. You've been wanting to play Avowed for a while now, and I think you were pretty upset about it getting delayed, to be honest.
Yeah, initially. I mean, look, games like that, if they get delayed, it's I know initially I'm always kind of like, but it's normally a good thing. So, I think in this case, at least from looking at reviews, it seems like it was a good thing. So,
really?
Yeah, I mean, it seems like I mean, it's not like crazy things like the game is busted or anything, but it's good reviews for the most part. So I think it definitely helped to have more time.
Okay, that's fair enough. Yeah, getting some updates in or whatever. Wait until it's actually finalized to see what's going on.
Yeah, and honestly, and I mean, I heard from an interview recently from Phil Spencer. I think it was Xbox Era. He did an interview with, and I think it was in that interview he talked about. At least I don't know if he directly said it, but he was sort of talking about when they made the decision to delay Avowed. I think most of it had to do with kind of just the release window it was in, because it was going to be in November, and obviously like Call of Duty and all that kind of taking up most of the landscape and whatnot. So I think he mentioned like part of that decision to delay it was just to give Avowed kind of a more room to breathe on release. So and it seems like that's the case. So I mean, it's kind of a nice window here between Assassin's Creed and Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, and but a couple weeks is probably what next week's going to be Monster Hunter Wild, so it's kind of like a lot coming out.
Yeah, it seems to be more and more really large games or like really well-known IPs are coming out in earlier months. Whereas in the past, I've always thought it was like end of the year is when things started popping off.
It's flipped, man. But now it's flipped.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's weird. I'm kind of okay with it, to be honest.
Yeah.
Although I'm gonna be more outside when the weather's nice. I don't know about you, but it's like we had a whole bunch of crappy weather the last 2 days, and it's been pretty miserable in the south.
Yeah, dude. Here, this is the thing in the south, man. We got like a good 3-4 days, warm, nice weather. So good.
Oh yeah.
I was like, yes, dude. Great. We're here. We don't have to wait until March, and then all of a sudden, last 2 weeks, just horrible. So, it's like, well,
makes no sense. Makes no sense at all.
Yeah. I'm hoping we're like a month away when it starts getting spring weather, but we'll see.
Yeah, I think for me, it's going to be very chaotic. So it's like the month of May is usually all over the place, and April is kind of like that. Just tons of rain, really stormy, but it'll be like warm weather for a handful of days, and then all of a sudden just cold and rainy, and then
Yeah.
it'll be like that for like a week.
Yeah.
There's not much you can do about it though.
So I almost forgot what storms are like, bro. During the winter, it's like you get none.
Yeah,
So, so I'll be ready for
yeah,
storm season again.
it is weird. Yeah, it's usually just cold and desolate.
Yeah, pretty much, dude. But dude, look,
Yes,
Mike,
sir, man.
I know that Marvel Rivals grind been going crazy for you, dude. And it's climbing the
Dude,
ranks.
the grind's been real. So I got myself up to diamond. Yeah, the grind's been real. Solo grinded, got all the way to diamond. The boys were like too impatient. They wanted to keep playing on ranked, get like the best rank, understand the game the best possible way. Even though the game like resets ranks what feels like every month. So I'm like, guys, just get on. Who cares? Just play. Um, yeah, but it is what it is. I grind up to diamond. I got a couple of lobbies where they're like, when you get into an all diamond and above class or rank, you start having the ability to ban certain heroes. And I think you
Oh
have
yeah, yeah,
4 rounds where you have 2 on your team and 2 on the other team. And you just ban whatever characters you don't want to see in the game, which is pretty cool. It makes it more dynamic. I like that. Um, yeah, it was just weird just to finally get up to that rank. So I'm like, okay, cool. That was like one of my goals for this season. The second, I guess, the first real season because season 0 was the first one. Um, and now the rest of the boys are still playing COD. So I'm like, okay, well, I got to go back. And then a couple other guys are playing Halo Infinite, and I'm like, well, I want to play with like 1 or 2 of the guys that I haven't played Halo with in a very long time, just like as a way to catch up with them, see how they're doing.
yeah.
So we got to run back, go play that. But again, dude, I'm still on my whole what's it called? Game catalog of all the backlog of all the things that I need to play. And I'm at the
Yep.
point where I'm really trying to crush work right now, get that out of the way, and then get into the single player games as well. So I'm gonna have tough choices when I finally get some free time
Yeah.
to decide it's like, okay, I want to play Indiana Jones. I still want to play Zelda. I still want to play like all these other games, finish the other ones. So I gotta just make a decision and then stick to it. So hopefully by next week I'll have more of a concrete like we need to do story driven games for a while because I've done nothing but multiplayer for the better part of like 3 or 4 months. So we gotta mix it up.
Yeah, I hear you, man. I hear you. This man's it's
Hmm.
grinding one way, dude. You gotta go the other way, dude. Join the dark side. But
To the dark side.
yeah, it's
To the story driven content.
yeah, dude. It's
Yeah,
fun of
I mean,
everything.
that's why I sent you. So for those of you that watch like live streamers, Summit 1G was playing some game where it's a survival game. You could start off as like an egg as a dinosaur, and then grow your way to being like the apex predator in this world. Game came out in 2015. I saw it this morning at like 7:30 this morning. He was streaming. He streamed for like 20 hours, by the way. Insane in one sitting. He was grinding. Um, and he was just going through this whole thing about like it's the simplest game in the world, but it's like I love dinosaurs. I'm on a dinosaur kick. I went to like Universal Studios. We were in Jurassic Park riding roller coasters. So I'm on that kick still. And I'm like, yo, we gotta check this out. Like this game kind of sick. And that's why I think I linked you this morning really early. And I was like, yo, check this out. And by the time you clicked on it, Summit was offline. So it didn't matter. But
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
It'd be
man.
that way.
Yes, sir. But hey, how about we let's go dive into this week's articles. That's really all I got to talk about anyway.
Oh yeah, I agree. Let's get into these articles, dude. We gotta start off with a crazy. I was gonna say craziest article. It might be the craziest article this week. Not gonna lie. We're starting off top, so we're not saving it for last. But we're talking about Marvel Rivals. This is such a weird industry. Marvel Rivals lays off NA-based team amid explosive success. The biggest game this year isn't immune to layoffs, they say. This is Tyler Culp over at Polygon reporting on this. Let's see what Tyler had to say. Marvel Rivals is easily one of the most popular games this year, drawing hundreds of thousands of players on Steam alone. And yet its developers NetEase has laid off a team who worked on the game out of its Seattle-based studio. Game director, I was gonna say Titus, but there's no way that's right. It's like
Thaddeus? I think it's
Thaddeus.
Thaddeus.
Thaddeus, I like that. Might be right. Thaddeus Sasser wrote a post on LinkedIn about the layoffs, which specifically mentioned level designer Gary McGee as one of the affected developers, and level designer Jack Burrows corroborated the news with his own post. This is such a weird industry, Sasser wrote. My stellar, talented team just helped deliver an incredibly successful new franchise at Marvel Rivals for NetEase Games, and were just laid off. According to Sasser, the team focused on coming up with new level design mechanics, gameplay mechanics, and so on for the superhero shooter. NetEase provided a Polygon with this statement on the layoffs. We recently made the difficult decision to adjust Marvel Rivals' development team structure for organizational reasons and to optimize development efficiency for the game. This resulted in the reduction of a design team based in Seattle that is part of a larger global design function in support of Marvel Rivals. We appreciate the hard work and dedication of those affected and will be treating them confidently and respectfully with recognition for their individual contributions. We want to reassure our fan base that our core development team for Marvel Rivals, which continues to be led by lead producer Kong Wu and game creative director Guangyan Chen in Guangzhou, China. Guangzhou, China? I don't know how to say it.
Joe? Yeah.
Guangzhou, I'm like disrespecting China. I'm sorry. Everybody's fully committed to delivering an exceptional experience. We are investing more, not less, into the evolution and growth of this game. We're excited to deliver new superhero characters, maps, features, and content to ensure an engaging live service experience for our worldwide player base. Marvel Rivals is one of the top 5 games with the most active users across PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, and Steam, according to Circanda Data industry analyst Matt Pescatella. It's also held one of the top 5 spots for the most played games on Steam, regularly hovering around 200,000 concurrent players. Later this week, it will enter the second half of its first season and introduce 2 new heroes to the roster with The Thing and Human Torch. I think I didn't see it, but I was hearing reactions to the Human Torch trailer or kind of showcase or whatever, and people were like, "Whoa, dude!"
Yeah, I haven't actually seen anything for the trailers yet, which is kind of funny because I play the game a lot. I I tend to try to avoid the hype. That way I don't get like overstimulated or over like disappointed or anything like that. I do know I'm excited for the Human Torch because it can fly. Not a whole lot of characters can fly like that, and I'm hoping it can be a good counter to somebody like Iron Man in the game who flies all the time.
Yeah.
It can be pretty cool to see, and I would like that. But the fact that they just randomly, like out of the blue, decided that they're going to lay off an entire, like only the US based team, it doesn't make sense. It's very weird. Um, yeah, it's weird. I don't know what else to say, you
Uh,
know?
yeah, I don't know. It's unless they literally just have nothing to work on, which I can't imagine would be the case.
There's no way,
Um,
dude.
it's just like it's such a successful game, dude. Like I feel like if anything, you just pump all the money and stuff you're getting from the game into letting them kind of continue their designs and try and come up with new stuff and just give them creative freedom. I feel like that would be the best thing to do. But hey, man, we all know creative. It's so funny. It's kind of a side tangent, but when do we not have a tangent, Mike? So I was just thinking about this. There was the clip of whenever Matt Booty, one of the head of Xbox, went into Double Fine Studios, maker of Psychonauts. And he's like talking with the team. And one of the things they pretty much mentioned, and this is like an interview from a while ago, but it's something that when the first time I saw it, I didn't really realize this is what was happening. But then when I rewatched it, I was like, oh wow. He pretty much went into the studio and was like, it pretty much indirectly said that like any kind of creative ideas or kind of things that are people come up with that could be used for this game or a future game, if it's made within the confines of like the Double Fine Studios that Xbox owned, then it's who's to say it's not technically Xbox's idea and they can't like come after
Oh
you later
yeah.
on if you're trying to like leave and do something else. And like
Yeah,
you
I
just
forgot what
see
that's called exactly. That's been around for a long time. It's like if you design any, the people tried to make that argument if you're like if you work at a company and you have a side hustle and your side
yeah,
hustle is like you inventing things, if you're to make like something with company property, maybe use like a company laptop to
yeah,
design something very briefly, they can claim all of it
yeah.
and then you lose everything to it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense, I guess, if it's, like, property of the company. It's just wild to me that it's, like and it's something I didn't think about. It's probably why, some studios just kind of end up turning out mid. It's because like, you don't let your creative people people who are, like,
Be creative,
truly
yeah.
creative and trying to come up with new ideas are hesitant to and may just kinda hold on to it because it's like, "Oh, this is my idea. I'd rather run with it on my own rather than" I mean, we've seen that too in the industry, people leaving well-known studios and, like, going off and
Oh
doing
yeah,
their
and
own indie projects, and it's like
like the next day too,
yeah,
like
and it's like
instantly. Just
it's just it all makes sense now. So when you hear stuff like that, it's like, oh yeah, these big companies coming in and like just kind of making making it so that people are just like, well, I'm not gonna share my idea if like later you're gonna try and come after me and try and say it was your idea. It's just wild. You can't even come up with ideas in these meetings because it's like, oh, it's all the property of Xbox on the studio. So I don't know. It was wild
yeah,
seeing
I
like
mean,
Matt Booty talk about that, and like in the moment you see kind of people's reactions. And they're just kind of looking at each other like, did you really just like say this? So
oh,
it's wild.
yeah, that doesn't happen just in video games either, which is kind of sad. It's just
Yeah,
it's what it is when you have like corporations or like high executive companies um, that it's all about the profit motive and it's not about being innovative. It's one of the reasons why I think we keep seeing these AAA companies not invent anything new or take any
yeah,
risks. Like they have no
exactly. Yeah,
intentions on burning cash. They'll just take whatever the indie scene is doing and then adapt it for themselves. It's
yeah,
kind of sad.
yeah,
I think that happens in pretty much most industries except for like especially if it's manufacturing or like taking a big technological risk. It's not like the indie small developer like entrepreneur inventor doing it. It's the government initially, and then the government does it, and then it becomes like a possible thing to do. That's when you get the enterprises coming in and like trying to perfect it and make it profitable. So
yeah,
it's just I think it's just a natural it's a natural form of how capitalism functions, I think, of just the
yeah.
flow,
It's just
the
wild. Yeah,
evolution.
yeah. It's just wild, man. Seeing all this stuff, and it's like people. It's just like these poor guys, dude. Like these poor people can't just like kind of bring out these crazy ideas. It's probably why we don't see like. I mean, obviously we still see some like diamonds in the rough and whatnot. Some AAA titles that are good, but I feel like there'd probably be a lot more just interesting, kind of wacky ideas from AAA, especially if it
Yeah.
was just like just let people kind of be open and free without the fear of losing their idea or kind of getting their idea stolen in a sense.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think you should be like you need to work for a company or be a part of a team that allows you to be yourself. Uh, you know what? Actually, we talked about it maybe last episode, but definitely 2 weeks ago about Split Fiction and how that team seems very like pushed by the leader of that studio. I don't know if this is for a fact because we don't like I don't work there,
Yeah,
but the perception that I have from the outside is everybody has the ability to create something, and then like the guy comes out and he's super freaking passionate about the game
yeah,
and he's very intense with it. He's like, we're gonna create something new. It's gonna be glorious and beautiful. It's like very intentional with his words. It's kind of inspirational, right? It's like you want to work for that guy.
yeah,
You don't want to work for the guy that's like, oh, this is a good idea. It's mine now.
yeah,
And you have to go there and make it profitable. It's like, come on, man. It's like sometimes it's just worth making cool things to be cool,
yeah,
you know?
yeah, dude. Shout out Joseph Ferris, I think is his name. Joseph Ferris.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
guy.
that's right.
Yeah. Head
I
of
didn't want to butcher
yeah,
his name, so thanks for picking it up.
yeah, the head of Haze Light Studios. Of
Yes.
um yeah, I mean just real quick before we move on. I mean you saying that too makes you think of the head of Larian Studios, Baldur's Gate Studio
Hmm.
kind of coming out and at Game
Yes.
Awards just being like, just be like spin some truth, and just telling people like telling these big corporations just need to let people do what they want kind of thing. Like just let
Oh yeah.
creatives be creatives kind of thing. So I don't know. Yeah, dude, it's wild out here. And NetEase can't let Seattle based employees do their own thing, bro. It's unfortunate.
It is unfortunate, and some of the people in the comment section of these articles, I always like clicking on them every now and then just to see what they say. And there's some people that are just like, of course they're gonna have the good developers make it, and then now that it's up and running, all they need to do is updates, which is partially true because it is a live service game similar to
Yeah,
Overwatch is. And now they're like, oh yeah, we'll just send it back to like lower level developers that are cheaper labor, and it's like, Yeah, I guess so. Whatever. I don't know, man.
Yeah,
It's
I don't know.
I have a feeling this is gonna be the last time we hear about this.
Yeah,
Um,
hope
I
so.
don't think it will be.
I hope
Yeah,
so, man.
but I will say the game's fun, even though it censors me when I'm trying to curse out my teammates.
They're out here banning comms, getting muted. It's crazy.
Yeah, I won't talk in comms because I'm gonna say something and then be like, "You're a dumbass," and just blanked the rest of eternity. Alrighty, man. What else we got?
Talk about Diablo. Are people hacking Diablo, bro? What's going on?
Apparently, yeah. So let's get into it. This is from IGN. Eric Van Halen. I want to say Van Halen. It's actually Van Allen. I just love saying that. So Eric over here wrote an article called "Diablo Hackers Tear Through Billions of Possibilities to Debunk a 15-Year-Old Record Speedrun No One Thought Could Be Beaten." Dungeon crawling meets data trawling. Nice little. You know what? This guy's
Okay,
underwriting.
okay.
Solid. Freelance writer for IGN. All right, let's get into it. Speedrunning has been a time honored tradition of video game enjoyers for years, with some records being held not just for months or years, but even decades. One particular legendary Diablo run, though, has been the subject of scrutiny and intense investigation, and now a thorough debunking. Okay, I'm going to destroy this guy's last name. Very Polish. In 2009, Message Grubo, Groobo, Grubo, I think is what it's called. Uh, Maslewski recorded an anytime percent segmented run as the sorcerer made up of 27 segments. The final time at 3 minutes and 12 seconds appeared on Speed Demo's archive, where no concerns were raised, and was subsequently published on February 26th, 2009. It would garner 2 Guinness World Record entries, and Diablo speedrun attempts would proceed to decline as the run seemed nigh impossible to challenge. As the years went on, though, skepticism arose in 2024. Jeez, 15 years later. Is that 15? Yeah, that's
Yeah,
15 years later.
yeah.
In 2024, speedrunner Funk Master MP approached Alan D. Wango AC, gamertag, Alan Sissel, to create a tool assisted speedrun, or TAS, of Diablo. Longtime Games Done Quick viewers will recognize Dwango AC as team leader for TAS Bot, tool assist speedrun. Um, the fun mascot that would appear during TAS blocks at GDQ's charity event. So the team got to work, and as detailed in a lengthy write up by Dwango AC and other members, started to discover inconsistencies as they attempted to replicate Grubo's run. So the team member, Stefan, told Ars Technica in a report detailed their investigation that we just had a lot of curiosity and the resentment that drove us to dig even deeper. So they were jealous. They were like, this man has a record he's held for 15 years. This is BS. So they were like, it can't be legit. So they decided to do some research. Because Diablo uses seeds to generate maps, it could theoretically have been possible to replicate Grubo's run. To discover the seed Grubo used, the TAS team built a custom map tool that could reverse engineer game seeds and determine the map, item, and quest possibilities therein. Then, a scanner tool built on top of it could sift through all the seeds and search for dungeons that might suit speedrunners. The team searched across roughly 2.2 billion RNG seeds, attempted to create Grubo's run, and couldn't find one that imitated all the seemingly perfect generation. It seemed to indicate this wasn't made up of segments from a single run file. Jeez, man. A single file or run, but from different runs. The deeper they dug, the more oddities popped up. Strange version markers in the main menu, inconsistent inventories, quests, and more. In the final conclusion, the team said its discoveries demonstrate Grubo's used illegitimate means to produce the results shown in the run, including combining gameplay from different runs, modifying memory, and using gameplay removing video splices. This kid's a rat. Um,
Right.
so the team also said overall, the team's analysis conclusively reveals the run was not possible, as Grubo described, without disqualifying modifications. The run should therefore be immediately retracted from all your leaderboards. The write up goes on to detail a response from Grubo, who told Wired, "My run is a segmented, spliced run. It always has been and was never passed off as anything else, nor was it part of any competition or leaderboards. The Speed Demos archive page states that outright. The investigation team presented its analysis to Speed Demos archives, which then discussed the findings independently with Grubo. On September 10th, 2024, SDA posted an update announcing the removal of all Diablo runs by Grubo. The Diablo speedrunning community, meanwhile, kicked back into gear and started setting new records. At a presentation, as reported as Ars Technica, Duego AC said he pursued the investigation without, because it did harm. Grubo's alleged cheating in 2009 completely stopped interest in speedrunning this category. And no one tried, no one could. You know what? I think that's legitimate. There's two things here. Yes, if you cheat in a speedrun and you get something that's completely impossible, it destroys anybody ever trying to use a speedrunning, because the whole point of speedrunning is do it legitimate. That's
Yeah.
the point. That's why it's fun. But him saying that it was always or had always been a segmented or spliced run is very, I don't know. It comes off condescending to
Very,
me.
I was gonna say very sussy. Very
Yeah,
sussy.
well, I mean, yeah, it's just like you killed a category of speedrunning, regardless of whether or not it was stated on whatever website that it was segmented or spliced. You can't be out here just letting that fly. Like, people really thought for 15 years that the record was unbeatable, so nobody ever tried. Like, why would they? It should be thrown out immediately, is what I'm saying. If it was very clear and obvious that it was segmented, it was spliced, then it shouldn't be a legitimate run, in my opinion. You should do it all the way through on its own. I don't
Yeah.
know.
No, I mean, I would agree. I think
Yeah.
yeah, it's just wild too that like people banding together were like, there's something not right about this. It's been 15 years, and these records, especially if done legitly, are meant to be broken. So it's like
Yeah.
if no one's even willing to try, it's like something's up. And so like to actually
Yeah,
do the
like why?
investigation, to
Yeah.
actually do the investigation and then find out your hunch is right, it's kind of like, oh, I bet that felt so good. Like after they like did all the tests and writing the
100%.
stuff, to like each finding was probably like, oh, like they're just finding something like not that
Oh
don't make
yeah, they're
sense. They're like, oh, baby, they're like their pen's on
dude,
fire, just writing this stuff down.
they 100% did this out of a grudge. I mean, I love it how it's just
Yeah,
self-admitted, we did it out of resentment.
yeah, they're just
It's
like
just
we're
like
very
you.
resentful when we did it.
Yeah, and it seems very apparent that it's been so long, like 15 years. 2009, dude. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't know anything about Grubo, but he could be a kid. And like we've all done stupid things when we are like 14, 15 years old. 15 years ago and you were 15, that means you're in your 30s. You should not care at all
yeah,
about this record,
yeah. I
Like
know.
really.
It's
Like
like,
it's kind of cool to say, but it's like you shouldn't die on that hill. That's what I'm saying.
yeah, no. I mean, yeah, to sit there, well, to sit there and be like, wait, it was kind of legit, you know. I don't know what these idiots are chasing after this for, dude. Just get good. It's like what? Um, but
Yeah, it's like it, it's it's just so funny to me that I don't know how I feel about it. It's like, what's worse? Okay, what's worse? Yeah, this could be an interesting debate. What's worse, cheating to get on a leaderboard, or like, let's not call it cheating exactly because he's making it out to seem. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt. Misrepresenting a record. I'll call it that. Saying you did everything in one take instead of like splicing it, or 15 years later, out of resentment, you decide to create a hacking tool and like go through all the data information to then compare and prove that that event 15 years ago is illegitimate and get it removed from all websites.
like,
You know
yeah,
what I mean?
which side is worse? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, yeah. It's like, yeah.
Yeah.
I think the cheating misrepresentation is probably worse, but it's also just like, bro, why do you care? It's been 15
Yeah,
years.
it's also like
You know what I mean? It's
I
like
mean, yeah.
I agree with finding out that you like they cheated or they misrepresented themselves, but also it's like it's 15 years ago. At the same time, it's like justice has been served, I guess.
Yeah. I
This is
mean,
something that should have happened 15 years ago.
yeah, it's true. Just that, yeah, it's yeah, I mean, you know me, I'm kind of right there with you. I mean, not super into speedrunning, but it's kind of like, dang, dude, like, like at least once a month, maybe even once a week, these people are sitting there thinking about like speedrunning, and especially in Diablo's context, are like, dude, I feel like that wasn't like, I don't think that was real. Like, at least
Yeah.
once a week, they're like, dude, that Grubo guy, dude, I just don't believe it. It's like eventually it ate him up so bad that like, all right, let's see if we can try and figure out a way to prove this
Oh
wrong.
yeah. No, I this is on the level of obsession where I feel like whoever made the hacking tool is obviously like a very dominant or like very serious speedrunner, but I think they went out of their way to teach themselves how to reverse engineer the entire game so that like that's mostly what speedrunning is in a lot of ways, like
No.
figuring out game breaking mechanics and like sometimes the speedrunners in a lot of games know the game better than the actual developers. Have you ever watched videos of developers watching people do speedruns of
Yeah.
their game? And they're
Oh
just like, "What the
yeah,
hell? I didn't know you could do
dude.
that." It's like
Yeah,
phasing through walls.
my one of my favorite videos, favorite game videos ever is when the Obsidian devs watch a Fallout New Vegas speedrun. And it's the
I
whole
know exactly
time
what you're talking about.
they're like every 5 seconds they're like, what? And they're just
Yeah.
laughing and they're like, dude, what is happening? Oh man.
I
Shit,
remember
like
seeing that one. I remember seeing one on Halo 5 Guardians. Like
I haven't seen
people
that one.
using different mechanics. Yeah, they use a mechanic called ground pound, and you've seen it before where you're like you
Mhm.
levitate in the air really high and then
Yeah.
all of a sudden you just go flying down to the ground. They would use that in campaign to phase through walls like the Super Mario runs,
Whoa.
where you do like weird glitches and like go through the
Yeah.
walls. They would do that and then like get through different barriers of the game. And it was super impressive. And the developer's like, oh my God. It's like pretty cool.
Yeah.
I just love the reactions.
Yeah. Well, it's
Um,
like, yeah. I mean, like in Fallout New Vegas, you see the character, like, if you do something a certain way with the door or something like that, you can, like, essentially get outside, like, get above the map and then just, like, traverse all the way to New
oh
Vegas,
yeah.
like, just floating.
Uh,
And you're just
I've seen
reloading,
that
quick
too,
save,
yeah.
quick load, quickly. And, like,
Yeah.
and that's, like, the whole thing. It's wild, dude. Makes you wonder how,
So
well, it's like, it's analyzing frame data and kind of seeing how, you know, yeah, I feel like half the people are just sitting there, like, they're probably like used to like speedrunning and stuff, and so they're just trying like old tactics. And
oh
sometimes
yeah.
the engines line up enough where it's like, oh, this works here too. So
Yep.
start doing it. Yeah,
That's 100% what it is. I will say it's like when you start finding glitches in games for the first time, it's it's like solving a puzzle you didn't know needed to be solved.
yep,
You know what I mean? It's like there are games where you can run through trapdoors that you never knew existed, like Easter eggs. But imagine finding Easter eggs that even the developers don't know about.
yeah,
Like that's what kind of like speed running entails. It's really, really cool.
yeah,
Um, I get
yeah,
it
dude.
totally. But it's also just super obsessive to go through this level of effort.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Dude, yeah, it
It's
really
cool.
is. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's funny. I played Once Human like a couple months back, and it's like
Yeah.
the kind of you know I was gonna say like an anime game. I mean, it's not really like an anime game, but it's kind of like one
Yeah,
of the
but
survival games that Japanese Eastern developer. But it was really funny. It's like it's a third person game, and you can do over the shoulder on left or right. And like I was just like playing around like one day, kind of like waiting on something to cook, and so like I was like kind of playing with like the zoom in stuff. And you have like a primary, secondary, two guns, and a melee. And for whatever reason, like when I was like spamming kind of like the weapon swap and stuff on the right, when I had the right shoulder over, like it was just like swapping through everything fine. But the second I went to the left shoulder and I like swapped real quick, I like found a button combination that essentially like took out the melee and you were holding it like a gun and you'd go to shoot and obviously nothing to shoot. And so you just had the melee awkwardly floating and you're just like aiming it like a gun. And I was able to recreate it, and I was just like sitting there. I like sat there for like 10 minutes, just like I kept doing that because it was just so funny. I was like, "Oh my god, I found a bug!"
so cool, man. I love that kind of
Man,
stuff
it's
so
funny.
much.
It's funny finding stuff like that. But then you get
Yeah,
the
it's
save
fine.
breaking bugs, and then you're like, yeah, I don't want to be here.
Yeah. When you get games that are just like the bugs break the heck out of it, it's not fun.
Yeah.
I know. So like I talk about the pod all the time or on the pod all the time about Halo, specifically Halo 2. There's this one glitch that Gunshot found. That's actually pretty crazy. He found that if you are I think I might not be exactly right, but if you're walking forward in a multiplayer map, I think you can even do it when you're playing campaign. But if you're walking forward, just W key, and then you hit start. This is only on OG, by the way, on the original Xbox. And you hit start, it brings up like your pause menu.
Yeah.
And if you exit out of that and then hit jump, you will jump, and at the apex of your height, you'll hit an invisible ledge like a floor, and then
Yeah.
you can jump again. So you get a double
Whoa.
jump. Yeah, and
Whoa.
he was just like, "Yeah, I'm gonna start doing this in like events and like when we're doing like tournaments or whatever." The only problem is you get screen shake in the game.
Oh.
So if explosions go off near you like grenades, the screen will shake and then the trick won't work, the glitch won't work.
I see. Need a
But
steady
yeah,
cam.
you need a steady cam. So he would do that, and I saw him do it once when he tried to sneak up behind somebody with like sniper, and he needed a double jump to get up there,
Hmm.
and he did that, and I was just like, "There's no like you are the nerdiest person on this planet. Like who does this?" Like, it was impressive. It was really cool, but I like that kind of stuff. It's very cool. Speed running, speed running glitches and games.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
a little puzzle to solve.
Yeah.
It's fun.
It really is. It really is. Talk about old games and finding these glitches, Mike. I talk about a most anticipated game of this year that actually could be coming out this
Ooh,
year.
allegedly. I'm sure it will be.
Allegedly.
You got to believe, dude, because we need we need Grand Theft Auto to make a comeback. And the point of like we need role playing back, we need single player story driven content, just all that kind of stuff.
But yeah,
This
dude,
could be
GTA.
it just has so much freaking like what's it called? So much potential.
Dude,
All right, I'll
Mike,
stop yapping.
listen,
Get into it.
listen, dude. 12 years. 12 years. I was
Has
in
it
high
really been
school.
12?
I was in high school when GTA 5 came out. 12 years.
Dog. Was I in college? Yeah,
It's crazy out
I
here,
was
man.
in college.
And like GTA
Holy.
5, dude. It's a lot to think about. But I mean, which is crazy. I do these big IPs before I start in the article. This is a side note. It's crazy we're in the era of where, if a studio has multiple successful franchises, you're looking at 10 to 15 years between major entries between games because there's just so many different ones. And it's just getting worse because games are getting longer to make. Oh, dude.
Yeah, you're probably right, isn't it?
We need
Because
studio splits, bro.
games
We
are getting longer to make, but I'm not exactly sure if it's worth it anymore.
like we gotta start splitting up studios, dude. Somehow.
Yeah, run it
Get
back
two
to
stu-
what COD's
get
doing.
get two studios just to work on different IPs under the same umbrella. So you can get Red Dead and GTA releasing within a couple years of each other.
Obviously, I keep everybody busy.
Yeah. Anyways,
All right.
speaking
What
of
do you got for
Rockstar,
us?
we basically know when GTA 6 is coming out now. Of course, that's assuming Rockstar's next big game doesn't get delayed. This is from Zach Swizen. Zach from Kotaku. We haven't done Kotaku in a while, so here we go. When will GTA 6 launch? That's the big question that a lot of game developers, fans, industry analysts, and publishers are wondering right now. And while we don't actually have an official answer beyond fall 2025, some recent information and news has helped us zero in on a likely release date. It's not surprising that fans are going wild over when GTA 6, the next big entry in the long-running franchise, will launch on PS5 and Xbox Series SX. Xbox Series S GTA. That lowest common denominator is it's gonna haunt everyone, dude.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
It's crazy. But it ain't just fans who have been waiting for a decade that are desperate for GTA 6 release date. Studio and publisher execs across the industry as well as smaller devs are watching closely as nobody wants to release a game too close to GTA 6 and it gets demolished by it. That's the problem, dude. That's the thing. When GTA 6 comes out, hopefully every studio's like a solid month delta from it, like either before or after. You
Oh
just,
yeah.
you just do not want to be in that blast radius. As a
Yeah.
result,
That's a good
everybody,
point now that I think about it.
everybody seems nervous about announcing a fall release date for their non-GTA games. Investors and analysts are watching to see if Rockstar's behemoth lands in 2025 or slips into next year. Something that would cause a lot of industry chaos. Okay.
Real quick, you know what that reminds me of is the crap. Like we're not talking about it this week, but you and I saw the article. RTX 2070 or no 5070 not being released like by Nvidia yet because they're waiting on to see what AMD does.
Yeah.
It's like what is that?
What are
What
we
is that
doing?
really?
What are we doing, dude?
All right, sorry. Hope I didn't sidetrack you.
Well, yeah. Well, the video viewers will see the date in the article. Anyways, let's keep reading. So, okay. So, with seemingly everyone wanting to know when GTA 6 will specifically launch, I'm here to provide a date. Drumroll, please. GTA 6, Grand Theft Auto 6, will launch on October 28th. Mark your calendars. And then he says
Is
probably.
I just see that probably or like right around there. So October 28th is a Tuesday. And oh yeah, Halloween is Friday this year.
Oh,
But yeah,
no Halloween Jita. What you're telling me?
catch me outside, dude.
Um, yeah,
Um,
probably, or like right around there, pretty close to that point. I mean, I'm not. I mean, I'm fairly certain that if the game doesn't get delayed to 2026, which Take-Two CEO Strauss Zelnick doesn't think will happen, GTA 6 is arriving sometime in late October. October 28th is the last Tuesday of the month, a month in which Rockstar has historically released a lot of its biggest games. But that isn't just a random guess based on the fall 2025 release window and Rockstar's past game releases. Another subheader, Borderlands 4, Take-Two CEO. Earlier this week, 2K Games and Gearbox announced the release date of Borderlands 4. The co-op sci-fi looter shooter is set to arrive on September 23rd. Why does this matter? Well, Take-Two Interactive is the parent company of both Rockstar and 2K Games. See, we're starting to connect we're getting the giant
Yeah.
board mic, and we're starting to string together.
we are, yeah.
So unless Rockstar Games is completely rogue and never communicates with Take-Two leadership, I'd imagine they know when GTA 6 is landing, even if it's just a rough window. And that would likely help inform when they would choose to launch Borderlands 4. As reported by Stephen Tostitos. Sorry, Stephen.
Tostitos. Totillo?
Totillo's a
Totillo.
game file on February 13th. It was a lot.
Tostitos.
Sorry, Steven. There was a lot of excitement and chatter at DICE during the week due to the announcement of Borderlands 4's release date. Totillo reports that a well-plugged-in attendee that he spoke to at the industry event explained that, quote, everyone's waiting for Take-Two and Rockstar to pick a release date for GTA 6. And Borderlands 4 is a signal that Take-Two, September 23rd, and the weeks immediately before and after it are probably safe. Pull out a calendar, and that's likely means GTA 6 isn't landing in September. Fall starts on September 22nd, the next day Borderlands 4 launches. So September is out. That leaves October and November. However, historically, Call of Duty has arrived in November, which is false, mind you, because end of October is when it's been releasing. So I don't know where you're getting your sources, Zach Swisen, but
that is fake. He's off.
Anyways, I digress. And while GTA 6 is likely to outsell this year's COD sequel, I doubt Take-Two and Rockstar want that big of a game launching so close to GTA 6. I mean, it's true, but like at the same time, like it's GTA. It's gonna just destroy everything, in my opinion. Unless it's like a total like nuke bomb bad, which is very unlikely. Yeah.
It's gonna be interesting because, dude, Grand Theft the charm with Grand Theft Auto, in my opinion, is that it's always been like it's been for adults always, and it's been a game where you can act out your degeneracies.
Yep.
It was like one of the first games where you could do just straight up steal people's cars and then go hang out with strippers who do more things than just strip.
Yeah. It's also, dude, I mean, the thing about GTA as well is like, especially like the more modern day ones, it's always been a satirical take on society at that given moment, especially like the modern ones. And so I'm just curious to see like what, like all the short form content, Mike, since Vine up until now TikTok, like that's seen a decade worth of involvement and like just kind of like how that's like panned out. I'm
Yeah,
so curious to see like what Rockstar's done with that, just like how they're gonna incorporate that kind of stuff into the next game.
yeah,
So I think
yeah.
it's
That's
gonna
a
be
good
funny.
point too. Yeah,
I mean, just and always like do the radio stations, just the
dude,
wild radio stations. Like,
unhinged,
dude, that's the best
unhinged.
part, dude. Just like the music and kind of just all that. It's good.
My fear for the Rockstar team, and they're totally capable of making great games. That's been obvious.
Yeah,
You don't need to have a break of 12 years, you said, to make a good game. But the point that I would try to make is like, will they pivot to what the modern style for games are, or are they going to stay in that like unique genre of Grand Theft Auto, where the appeal of Grand Theft Auto is how like debaucherous it is. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
I mean, they definitely shouldn't, in
It'll
my
be
opinion. I think they should
yeah,
just kind of stick to what they're doing.
I think they should stick to what Grand Theft Auto is. It'll be
Yeah.
very interesting to see how it plays out though. Regardless, this is going to be all over the news and it's going to be
Oh
one of
yeah,
the most anticipated games of the year and has been for like years now. So,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. It really has. Got two more paragraphs. Let's close out,
Okay,
shall we?
sorry.
Let's continue the string map. So with that in mind, and based on Zelnick sounding very committed to a fall release date, I think this points to a late October launch, while Call of Duty, which is now owned by Xbox, probably moves into a middle of November. Remember, Xbox wants GTA 6 to be a big hit, as it's a game that will likely sell a ton of Series S consoles. Series S? I mean, that's your cheapest foray into next gen gaming, so sure. If you want your game to look like crap, Mike, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Nah, dude, this I will say before I even move on. I mean, I feel like the biggest edge in the console space right now, if you're trying to get the latest and greatest, is obviously going to be a PS5 Pro.
Yeah,
Very
I think that's
expensive.
fair.
So it
Hmm.
depends on how people are willing to fork over that much, and who will just buy a PS5 instead just to get I don't know. I mean, both consoles are going to sell a lot, I'm sure, but you know, it's weird because Xbox has the worst console out of all of them, and then PlayStation has the
Yeah.
best. So it's like you have like four ranges.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you're kind of all over the place.
Yeah.
Hold on. I think Nintendo is probably the worst, but yeah, I get what you're saying in
Yeah, I
terms
mean,
of
I
like
in the context
traditional
of GTA,
consoles.
yeah, in the context
Yeah,
of
yeah,
what GTA is coming out on, yeah.
yeah, yeah. And that's not a knock on Nintendo. They're just dated. That's all that is.
I mean, yeah, just
Uh,
blue ocean strategy. Sorry. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I totally I agree with you. Yeah, I think you're pretty right.
Yeah.
Um, it will be interesting though. So yeah, the rumors are we're definitely getting it this year,
That's
allegedly.
according to the CEO. I mean, obviously he sprinkled some like, you know, subject to change, but
Of
still
course, yeah.
like
You never know what's gonna happen.
but I mean, hey, he still was like, yeah, I mean, we're on track. So even though we haven't seen a second trailer and it's been over a year, we're on track.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Um,
Well, they're gonna need all the help they can get. I think just
yeah.
bringing in the content.
So there you go. GTA 6 is out October 28th. Maybe Take Two does an early access period for the game, and the official release date is the 28th, but it really arrives 3 days early on the 25th. Either way, I'm thinking this Halloween season, a lot of people are going to be too busy causing mayhem in Vice City to go to any spooky parties.
Well, I mean,
I
I'm
mean,
still gonna go to the spooky parties. I'm just gonna be dressed as the main character of Grand Theft Auto. That's all I'm saying.
oh man, yeah, it's interesting. Price, it's one of those games too. People talk about the price model, like is the price of the base game going to go up in general, like 80 or whatever. But it's
Oh
also
yeah,
like,
yeah. I think it definitely will.
this is
To
the
be
thing
honest,
though.
yeah.
This is the thing though. Like I hear both sides of the coin because like yeah, that could happen, but also it's like GTA is more prime. Rockstar is more prime than any other developer to just literally pop on that coveted 3 5 day early access, get the $100 version,
Yeah,
and then like you already know everyone, their mama getting that. They're not getting the standard edition. It's not happening. So I mean that's
yeah,
Rockstar
yeah.
is literally primed. Like the rocket is in the chamber and like $100 game just ready to fire off whenever just like
I
oh
th-
5 day early access. No one's not gonna get the early access if they do that.
I think you're probably right. It's definitely gonna get people that are going to be collectors that are always buying the early access games. I personally
Yeah.
will not do it because that's just against what I believe. Um, Not like it's like a monument of
Yeah.
my like ethics, but it's I don't want to put money into games that haven't been released fully, especially with how many games have released in the past, like what 10 plus years. Just think of your favorite game that needed a day one patch or it had DLC and it was never really finished. So I, but at the same time, it's freaking Rockstar and
Dude,
Grand Theft Auto. So what are we
this
saying? You know,
this man's not willing to violate a core tenant just to get GTA,
it's
right?
it is yeah, dude. It's kind of like that principle of the fact. You know, it's
Yeah.
like I will not buy day one DLC. I will not buy beta versions of games unless it has to be fantastic. I have to be watching videos, or it has to be like a small studio where when you buy the beta on a discount, right? Like 15 under 20
Yeah.
bucks.
Yeah.
If you buy it, you know it's going to go to the development of the actual game. And if it doesn't, at least I know I'm getting $20 worth of a video game instead of a $60 game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's levels to my flexibility. But
Yeah.
what I'm saying is like 3 days early, $100. Come on, man. That's kind of just wait 3 days. That's okay.
Uh, I don't want to say I
You're like,
completely
nah.
I
You're
don't
like,
want to say I
nah.
completely disagree with you, but oh man, I'd probably be
You
one of
do.
those sheep, dude. I have to say it, especially for this game. Most games, I agree. I probably wouldn't do it. I think the last game, I remember the last game I did early access. It's probably Starfield. It was the last game I did like the early
And
three
how'd
day
that work?
access. I
How'd that work
mean,
out?
it was good to get the game early, but in hindsight, I definitely just could have waited. So, I mean, here we are. You
Yeah,
know,
thank you.
I have
That's where
no
I'm at, man.
regrets, dude. I don't know what to tell you.
Regards. I love that.
uh, dude.
Stupid meme.
Uh,
All right,
but
should we continue on to the next bit of
yeah,
article? It's still on topic, really.
yeah.
It's kind of like what you called it a double header earlier. That's
That
basically what it
was your
is.
words, dude. I just roll with
Was it mine? Thank you, bro.
it.
Yeah, the double header on Rockstar. This one's coming from The Verge. So we just covered the one on Kotaku, and the one on Kotaku was done by Zach Zwazen. Um, who, yeah, Kyle went ahead and read. This one is The Verge. Ash Parrish, who we've covered, dude, thousands of times at this point. It has to be. So Rockstar is working on bringing Roblox creators GTA 6, like GTA 5 and GTA Online. GTA 6 longevity will depend on engaging with the modding community. That is a fact. Like that GTA 5, GTA Online stuff, role playing, they have to be involved. And I really like this article and I was interested in having it because Roblox, I had never played it. I know you've seen or you know a lot about Roblox and you've talked to me about it with the modding community in Roblox. They make like everything you could possibly think
Yeah,
of.
pretty
So
much.
having that type of community or those creators get involved is really sick. This is a short article, but it's worth kind of mentioning. Maybe get people even more excited if you needed more excitement about GTA 6. So GTA 6 looming over the fall 2025 release schedule. A new report from DigiDay claims that Rockstar is going all in on user-generated content. According to the report, the developer is having discussions with Fortnite, Roblox, and GTA creators about making a custom experience inside what's shaping up to be the biggest gaming release since the last GTA game launched way back in 2013, 12 years ago. That Rockstar has made user-generated, yeah, Rockstar has made user-generated content part of its strategy for GTA 6. Should come as no surprise. Despite the last GTA launching over 10 years ago, interest in the game has stayed fresh with the help of mods like 5M, which is the role playing version. If you guys weren't aware of that, 5M is the role playing version. If you ever watched Steam, YouTube, not Steam, Twitch, YouTube, stuff like that, voice actors, just streamers having a good time. So, like 5M, that allows users to host and join their own multiplayer servers. Rockstar initially banned some of the creators of 5M back in 2015, citing that their mod was an unauthorized alternate multiplayer service that contains code designed to facilitate piracy. That is pretty freaking true, to be honest.
I
If I'm being,
mean, they weren't
yeah,
wrong.
yeah, I hope they mention it. But so, however, as the popularity of the kinds of games that role playing enabled by 5M and similar mods grew, Rockstar reversed course. In 2023, the company acquired CFX.re, the team that developed 5M. So one of the things that 5M ended up doing to like get around the piracy stuff is they made it so you had to show you at least bought the game.
Yeah.
You had to prove that.
Right.
So yeah. So games like Fortnite, Roblox, Minecraft remain at the top of the US sales charts years after their release thanks to the popularity of user-generated content. Arranging deals with creators prior to its launch will help GTA 6 hit the ground running in a crowded marketplace. Now, dude, tons of developers have got content creators very early on and done these like hit the ground running with the crowded marketplace like of streamers playing games. A great example of this is Halo Infinite. I am honestly convinced that some of the big name streamers and especially like what's it called? Tech testers, like tech YouTubers, the guys that like pick up new electronics, put it in the computer and they test out a game.
Yeah.
They're always testing out Halo Infinite all the time.
Yeah.
And I see like streamers who have no business ever playing Halo will just randomly switch up from like I'm not even joking, they'll switch up from something completely different like a racing game and go play Halo Infinite. I'm like, "What the hell is going on?" And I'm kind of convinced right now that like Microsoft or Xbox is like trying to pay the bigger name streamers to bring a new audience to the game because Halo's an old IP. So I think that might be part of it.
Yeah.
Um,
Maybe.
but yeah, man, how do you feel about the modding community already being embraced into GTA 6? I find it encouraging because 5M was really sick, really cool. Did you ever get on role playing ever?
I played one like 1 hour session once. And, I mean, I was very like, I mean, it was, I don't know, it's kind of hard for me to get into, but at the same time, I've certainly probably watched more, I've caught more streams like and clips of people playing, like
Yeah,
role playing more than I've actually played myself. I mean, those clips are,
I'm the same way with that. Yeah.
the clips are hilarious, dude.
Oh yeah,
There's
dude.
there's one, I don't know, there's one TikTok I think that just comes to mind that I'll have to send you. It's like just the silliest like thing ever. It was like some guy he figured out like that he can make his guy do like certain poses. So he was just like he would be in the middle of a conversation.
Oh, I know what you're talking
And
about.
then he would just like hit a button and it was like the most sus like pose ever. You're like,
Yeah,
whoa. Dude, it's like it's just funny seeing that stuff. And so
I, I
yeah.
I've seen a couple of those too. Like maybe it was GTA Online. I'm not even sure if it was 5M, but he was like walking back. He's an old guy walking back and forth, trying to play off as being an NPC,
Yeah.
and just real players are trying to shoot him or like throw rockets at him. And maybe he had a mod to make it so they couldn't hit him, but he was dodging everything, like just randomly going into prone and like sitting down, and, like laying down, and dodging all these bullets is
Yeah.
so funny. And you have the live voice comms from people playing the game. The
Yeah.
people that are trying to shoot
Yeah.
him are like screaming at the top of their lungs, like, "Why
Yeah.
don't you die? What's happening?" They don't
Dude, yeah.
understand.
I mean, it's funny too, like seeing the people that actually like take it super serious, and so it's like you
Oh,
were talking
dude,
like,
yeah.
especially the streamers, like you're turning off
Oh, they know it.
webcam, you're like fully in it, you're just like
Oh yeah.
actually having real conversations, like
Oh yeah. They're like method
it's crazy,
actors.
yeah, it's wild.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, yeah, just seeing kind of that level of stuff, and just seeing I don't know, it's like literally it's like living in a little city almost. So I don't know,
I
yeah, I mean,
think
there's a lot of
it's
cool stuff there.
I think it's brilliant. I really do. It's kind of girls back in the day used to play with like dolls, do like playhouse and stuff, and then like some boys would do it too, or would like like dragons and dinosaurs play
Yeah,
fighting or wrestlers and stuff.
yeah,
It's so funny that people still do that, but the medium in which they do it has
mm,
now changed. So it's like before it'd be like you're in your own like living space by yourself or with a friend and you're having fun with family. Now it's like you're online in front of thousands of people who are watching you, who are
yeah,
also in on the story. It's like this is one of the moments where gaming's really cool and like the internet's really awesome because people get new experiences that they would never have.
yeah,
And like the
yeah,
imagination that you can have is really cool as well.
yeah.
My favorite is watching the cops sometimes because they're like some of them are
Dude,
ex-cops
yeah,
or like trained
yeah,
and stuff, and
yeah.
they're like they're very. I'm like, dude, am I watching Cops right now? Like the
It's
actual show,
wild.
Cops.
Yeah, dude. Bro, there's one creator I think of on TikTok. If I'm like scrolling TikTok, dude, his live stream comes up every time. He has like the perfect audio setup, and he I was like, this dude was definitely a cop at one point. Like he has the voice and everything. Like there's no
Oh
way
yeah,
he was not an actual law enforcement
yeah,
officer. I was like,
just
that's
spot
got to be his
on.
day job or something, dude. It's insane. It's just so good. So yeah. And yeah,
Yeah,
there's multiple times if I catch a stream, bro, and he's like in the middle of a chase, I'm like, all right, I'm locked in for 15 minutes. Well, cancel plans. Like I gotta watch how this goes. So funny,
I'll
dude.
I'll be a dinner late. Send out the
Yeah.
text now.
Oh my gosh, it's just so good, yeah. Yeah, dude. No, but
Yeah.
seeing Rockstar embrace this, I mean,
Oh, dude. Like,
was there ever a doubt Rockstar is just gonna like go all in on this now that they've learned their lesson from like 10 years ago?
yeah, I think it's like a show of good faith a little bit. Nintendo would never do this, obviously.
Yeah, no,
Nintendo is going after any content community that is outside the realm of their game. Like,
no.
if you altered it a little bit, we're gonna assassinate you and your
It's a
entire
me,
family.
the attorney.
But
Like,
that's pretty good. I'd never heard that before. Yeah, that's Nintendo. Whereas Rockstar is just like, I mean, yeah, we made a ton of money. You guys are still playing our game. It gives us more like insight. People are interested. Maybe they'll play the actual campaign. Maybe they'll buy the game. That's the right mindset to have, right?
yeah,
Like in a
exactly.
world where things keep changing, you want like brands everything. You want to have a good established brand. You don't want to like insult your player base. You
Yeah,
better have some crazy good IPs like Zelda or
yeah.
Mario or something nuts.
Better have a library,
Um,
dude.
yeah, for sure. So to see Rockstar basically, yeah, we're gonna go like buy the guys that are essentially developing your game
Yeah,
continuously. Like that's a good idea. That makes logical sense.
yeah,
And now going after and getting content creators and creators of just Roblox, Minecraft, and just people that operate within the the realm of possibilities that a game engine already provides. Just so cool. I think that like the possibilities right now, I think are endless.
yeah.
And we're gonna hopefully find out in about 9 months, dude. We're cooking up a baby right now. We get to
Dude,
find out in 9 months.
crazy. It's crazy. Think
Yeah,
about.
man.
Yeah, it's yeah, it makes me wonder too if like if Rockstar is trying to take an approach, like bringing in these creators and stuff, they're trying to do something like a Fortnite universe kind of thing. You know, like all these mini
Dude,
games
that
and
would be
server
cool.
browsers and do something like that, and
Yeah.
just kind of make a hub. I think it'd be
I think that could
interesting.
be really cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Um,
That could be really cool to do. Putting in actual content creators into the game itself,
yeah. Oh
like
yeah.
skins. I think the only problem is I hope they don't, because the game last came out 12 years ago, which means it predates the loot box crisis of 2015,
Yeah, it sure does.
where with like
The
Star Wars Battlefront,
microtransaction epidemic.
EA. Yeah, that was insane. Now we're in like an always online battle pass seasons continuously going on, artificial scarcity, and people just getting price gouged for cosmetics that should be unlockables. If Grand
It's
Theft Auto
true.
goes
Yeah.
that route and makes it so, yeah, here's $100 game plus if you want anything good in the game, you have to buy a $15 season pass. And we're
Yeah.
gonna just keep renewing it. By the way, season passes are no different than World of Warcraft's online pass internet service that they had like 20 years ago that people can really afford. So yeah, it's like we're just changing the medium of extracting money from us, and if they go that way, it's like I think it can get a lot of kickback.
It's a fat
It
L.
better be a hell of a good game. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah. Be an L. Yeah. It's. Oh man, I hope Rockstar just trusts in the 100 million copies they know they're gonna sell. Just
Yep.
gotta leave it at that. I mean, yeah, because I mean, cause that's the thing about the scary. That's the thing what's scary about Rockstar is they hold so much power with this game that
Yep.
if they just get yeah, if they fall in, because that's a good point. I mean, there's been a lot of game history that's happened in the past 12 years, and
12 years is a very long time.
a
Yeah.
lot of predatory practices and a lot of missteps and a lot of like people trying to figure stuff out. So not, it's just wild, man. Like waiting 12 years between games. I mean, a lot changes not only from the gaming industry but pop culture and society. Like there's
Yeah.
just so much that's changed. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's interesting to see kind of Rockstar's take on it, and if they hopefully just look at their North Star that is GTA and Red Dead, and just like staying with that core model And if they want to branch out and do like, kind of a maybe like a kind of hub style or like Fortnite style, to kind of be able to host and create mini games. And I don't know how easy it is with their tool set. I mean, I would assume this time around they'd probably, if they're working with these creators, they're probably hopefully going to make some sort of tool set that's easier to use and kind of more people can access it and make their
Yeah,
own
I
mini
think that's
games.
fair.
So that would be amazing. If we could just get the main GTA game, which I almost assume we're getting, just that core game, and then it's like, all right, like this time, if you want to host your own servers, we'll just keep it all within our hub. You don't have to download any other apps. Just keep it all in there.
Dude.
Like that's what I'm hoping they're doing by bringing these people in. Just let's keep it all in the client. Let's don't have to download 5
Yeah,
clients, and you know. So
I would very much like the ability to host my own server though.
yeah,
Completely separated. So long as people have like internet connection that they can verify that they have a legitimate license of the game, they could use my gaming server.
for a
And you can
monthly
localize
fee.
it. Yeah, you can localize it. You can play it on LAN only. Maybe if you have like a family. This isn't really a family game, but it's like, you know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
if you have a family of like brothers, sisters, cousins, whatever, and you're all around the same age, and that makes sense, or just like close friends in the neighborhood, anything like that, right? Um, there's a lot of possibilities that they can go with. The thing that I fear for, like you said, they have a lot of power. I don't think it's in the developers' hands. They're gonna do like they're working for a paycheck. Rockstar's so big at the end of the day. The people that are working on this game constantly are probably very passionate people, but the way the money comes in isn't up to them, you know?
Yeah, I mean,
And it's going to be down to the execs and how greedy they want to be because this is going to be a cash cow and it's going to come down to how much they want to monetize it,
yeah,
you know?
it's true.
It's going to sell,
Yeah, without
but
a doubt.
yeah,
I
yeah.
like you talk, yeah, it's gonna be a cash cow for sure. But Mike, I just want you to imagine the how big the cow of cash is that took to just make this game. Like just the amount of
That's what I'm
sheer
thinking
like
too.
power, like sheer amount
Yeah,
of
that could
devs that were needed.
yeah,
Now
that
marketing, I mean, I'm sure they're obviously working on same marketing, but it's like I mean, we've seen one trailer, but even that one trailer, we're talking like hundreds of millions of views on YouTube, and like
mhm,
all this buzz, people talking about it without them releasing stuff. Like they don't have to
easily.
do too much marketing, so it's kind of just like they may not have to spend too much on it, but I mean, they certainly could if they want to. But just that, like not even taking into marketing, like I would not be surprised, and I would probably vomit once I hear that $1 billion was spent to make this game because it's just like it's Rockstar game. A lot of research
A
goes on.
billion though? I don't know about that, but at the same time, the
First one,
games are getting
dude.
outrageous.
I mean, if you factor in the
That's
console,
Star Citizen, dude.
if you factor in the console as well as like PC and kind of getting all that stuff, I mean, like 500 million would not be crazy. Like half a billion,
No,
not
I don't.
crazy at
Yeah,
all. I would not be surprised. 750 would not be surprised. Um, I mean,
you know what kind of?
it's
Yeah,
going to hit a billion eventually though with GTA Online, and if you continue that, depending on how much they invest into kind of creator tools, I mean, you're over time without question going to hit a billion, just from development costs stuff like that. However, we're talking probably like what few billion at least in revenue when they sell the game and
yeah,
I get all the shark cards and stuff. So
dude. That's yeah. I don't know, man. There's really not much else to say on this because we don't really know. It's mostly speculation, but I just gotta hope they're not gonna come out swinging. Like you said, it's gonna be very expensive for them to make it, and the execs are gonna want to see a return on their investment as soon as possible.
yeah,
I think
I mean,
that's just what I know about execs.
yeah,
All about the
like
bottom line, baby.
look, I think again, unless it's like I don't even want to say because I know it's not gonna happen. Unless it's like a new drop bad like game on release. Like I think I would hope executives especially have no doubt in their mind they're going to get return on their investment. It just then becomes all right, we could easily milk it by just adding this and this and this and this, and we can
Yeah.
really get a return versus just getting a return. So, um, yeah, I don't know, dude. It's scary, Mike. I'm excited for this game. Don't get me wrong, but it is yeah. I mean, I just and Rockstar in the past has never. I don't know. I don't think they've ever been. At least that I remember where they've ever been like super greedy and kind of over. Um, just overboard with their practices. But
Yeah.
they let you buy
Well,
shark
I
cards,
mean,
dude. But,
it's just one of the things about them. Like Rockstar is owned by Take Two, which is on the stock market, and companies are beholden to this, like the shareholders. So it might not even be in Rockstar's hands either.
I mean,
Like
yeah,
Take Two could really be
it's
like, "Yo,
true.
we need this,"
I
whether or
mean,
not you care.
yeah, I say all that too, and GTA and even Red Dead 2, that's 6 years now. I mean, 7 years. It's
Mhm.
like, I mean, it's a lot's changed in 7 years, let alone 12. So I mean, it's
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, certainly after COVID and stuff, we're seeing the impacts of these shareholders looking at that market, dude. So
yeah. I don't know, man. I'm just looking forward to the change up of games. I want a more recent Grand Theft Auto. I think
oh
that's where
yeah,
I'm at.
we all want. It's what we all want.
Mhm. It's gonna break records though. Out of the box, breaking records,
Out the
broken or
gate,
not, it's gonna be breaking everything.
out the gate.
Yeah.
See it all.
All right, brother. How about we close it out because that's all we really have to talk about this episode.
Yeah.
Alright, sick. So I guess without further ado, if you guys want to check out anything that we've covered, again, we covered Grand Theft Auto, Rockstar Games, Diablo hackers, and NetEase. Dude, I still don't understand Marvel Rivals. Like, why would you lay off an entire studio after you're so successful? But yeah, anything that we've covered, the links are in the description below. We also have timestamps as well in the link below. And yeah, if you're listening, like, subscribe, tell us what you think, and if there's any topics you want us to cover, let us know. Without further ado, Kyle, do you want to let the people go, or do you want to add anything?
Yeah, I'm just gonna go. I have 5 articles, Mike. We're gonna start from the. I'm just kidding.
There was a good handful of articles. I told you right off the start
Uh,
where I was like, damn, like you kind of popped off this week.
got 6
Um,
more. Strap it.
That's right.
Uh,
Let's get it going. See us on Patreon for the longer version of the video. No.
for the post show, that's twice as long.
For the photo show, yeah. Heck yeah. Anyways, let's let the people go. We appreciate you guys for tuning in. This has been the M2 podcast. I'm Michael Anthony. This is Kyle Heath. We will see you in the next one, and keep on gaming, guys. We'll see you later.
Sure.
Adios, amigos.
Cheetah.